Like notice how sometimes like right here, like we got my all it takes is a single pylon to power a building, but you can see how my pylons are kind of intersecting here. Their radius of influence. Because if this pylon goes down, and this pylon's not here, then I lose my gateway and my forge. That's retarded. I don't want to lose my gateway and my forge. So I build it like sometimes. I don't mean you encase your buildings in 50,000 pylons, but what I'm saying is just kind of build intuitively to where like if this pylon right here goes down, I lose this cannon, but this cannon is still operational because this pylon is still hidden. So you can do tricks like that to make it like because pylon is kind of like a weak. Can be a weak lane for Protoss, but not if you play your base right and build your base right and play your cards in a creative way. So you're doing that, and you got to build your gateway first. Gateway is typically the first thing that goes down. You don't want to get. It's a common mistake. People are like, all right, first thing I got to do is set my money up, right? You build a simulator first. You don't need an assimilator the moment you start the game. Like you can wait off on that because you can get through a little bit of your tech. You can get to gateway, you can get to forge, you can get to pylon. You can even expand without getting any gas at all. And you want to make sure you know what's going on with your opponent. So probably about maybe 6 or 7 drones into maybe 8 or 9. I don't know what the exact number is. People have this down to a science, but I don't. You send out a drone, right? You send out one of these probes, and you go check out your enemy base and see where he is. If it's a one-on-one map, you know exactly where he is. You check out, see what he's doing. If he's not doing something weird, like he's not, producing ultra disc at tier 1. Make sure he's not cheating or whatever. I don't know. But the point is, you get your drone out and you do some investigation what your enemy is doing. If you see something dicey, like, oh crap, he's making a bunch of Zerglings. So you're like, okay, I need to make sure I have my Zealots in the right part. So you're doing your Zealot thing, Chrono Booster thing, get your Zealots come out faster, and you're just keeping yourself safe. Another pylon back here. You can put pylons right in the middle of freaking drones. Like you could just say right on their faces, right? Because they'll move out of the way in Starcraft too. It's nice. And then you produce. You got your cannons. You click, maybe 2 or 3 cannons, whatever. If you want to play a defensive game, or you take the battle to your opponent, you get your Zealots out and you push on him. So it just depends. And then by the time you're saying, all right, I need Cyber's core, I would say by the time your Cyber core starts warping in, maybe halfway done, or you just start building Cyber's core, start getting your best paying gas. Because Cyber's core unlocks stuff that you're going to want. You need best paying gas for, so I'm going to do this little Cyber core down. Maybe I won't. Over here. So boom. And then, whatever. You kind of play it by ear. That's a good start out. Because people that are just like new to Starcraft, they'll have like 5 workers on the minerals, and they have, 3 on the best paying gas, and they don't even have their first gateway up, and it's like, come on. Like, you got to know a little bit about whatever. So hopefully that will help some people. Let's see, one second, take a drink of water. Okay, so what's cool about StarCraft is like it can encompass a bunch of different ways. There's not a lot of like, you may have heard the term build order poker or BO poker. Like you take out your probe and you look at the tech tree, right? You got your Nexus. This is just whatever, right? You get into this Cyber's core, which unlocks, of course, your high-tech structures. And there's 3 lines here. Basically, it's kind of like infantry line, starport, ship line, and like robot, or sort of like vehicle line. That's kind of how I see it. So, you got to see what your opponent's doing. You've got to know. So my next point is scouting. Scouting is so important in StarCraft, especially the more skilled you become and the more skilled your opponents become. It's ridiculously important. And this little guy right here, the Observer, is your BFF in scouting. Excuse me. And the reason why is because, like I said earlier, he's fast, he's cloaked, he has a detector, he fixes your coffee in the morning, he just does so many little things, and he's only like, 2575? Yeah, 2575. One supply, come on. There's no reason why Protoss should have like, 4 or 5 of these just scattered around the map. You just send them around, like this is my opponent's base, whatever, and I sent one here. He just chills out on this cliff. I send one over here, and I can see what's coming out of his base anytime. And I send one here, maybe, just you do that. Then you even have a couple more of your forces to detect what his cloaked units are. It's so easy for Protoss to scout and to have detection with them. Yeah, the only other thing that would be easier, I guess, would be the scan station for Terran. But that's just, yeah. So anyway, this is a good unit to have, and I really like him. I built a couple, at least 5 or so. So that's important about scouting, but it's also important to scout early game because you won't get these guys when you first shot. You don't like make a nexus and then they just come flying out and willing to scout for you. No, you have to kind of tech a little bit. So you got to do some scouting with. What I would do is I would scout with an early probe. You go out there and you do some scouting. You come back and you get him back to work, and then maybe you scout with some zealots. Maybe you wait till stalkers, so you have something a little faster, something ranged, a little more flexible. But you got to get your forces out in the field and try to know what your opponent's doing and just investigate. So that's that. Let's see what else we got. We went over spells. We went over scouting. As far as expanding goes, like, okay, I'll be honest. I don't really know the exact time for expanding. Like, Zerg is kind of easy because you can do it like ASAP. You can do it like right off the bat. But Terran and Protoss have to play a kind of a different, kind of risky game, particularly when fighting Zerg, because Zerg has so much flexibility early in the game. They can get forces running around. They have Zerglings, they have roaches, all this crap running around, ready to ruin your day. And you come out with this probe, and you're like, okay, and you come out with this probe, and you're like, oh, building a nexus right here. And nothing's with this guy. You're going to lose the probe. You might lose the nexus. Make sure if your building's under attack, like, this is just something that you need to make sure of. If you do this sort of thing, and no one's out there defending them, and then all of a sudden Zerglings come up, and it's like, oh crap, and they're attacking your nexus. Your probe is dead, or he ran back home. Make sure you grab the building and hit escape, just so it cancels the building. You get 100% refund. There's no point in not doing it. So unless it's like your forces are like, you've got your forces, they're coming up and they're almost there, and the nexus has plenty of health. It's like 75% done or whatever. Then don't cancel it. If you're sure you can fight them off, just don't. But if things look dicey and you're going to lose your nexus, just cancel the thing. So you can get your money back and recompile your strategy. So that's important information. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is Protoss strategies and their macro mechanic, which is pretty freaking cool. There's an upgrade in the Cybernetics core called, it's not here, but it's like Enable Gateways or Warp Gates or whatever the heck it's called. And these are gateways, right? These produce your basic number of your units and spellcasters. The other production facilities I'll go over real quick are Stargate, for high-flying cruiser stuff, and the robotics facility for Observer, the Warp Prism, which was that transport I mentioned earlier, and Colossus and Immortals. So those are the three production structures, similar to Terran, not like Zerg with the larva. So gateways, you get this upgrade in the Cybernetics core. I already got it, and you can turn your gateways into what's called a warp gate, right? So normally you'd like hotkey your production structures, right? So you get, like, this is on group 3, for example, and these are my gateways that I was using to produce stuff earlier. And I would hit G for each gateway, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now they're turning into these warp gates. And the warp gates can produce the same units, but they work a little differently. And basically what happens is, now, first of all, you get two things. One, you get an auto hotkey on the side, so whenever you're out doing something else, I can now group units to group 3 because I don't need it anymore. Now this guy group 3, I hit 3, and it's just that guy. So I screwed up my groups, right? Well, the thing about it is I can hit W when it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm fighting stuff with carriers, whatever. I hit W and it selects my warp gates wherever I am. My warp gates are back in this base, and I'm clear up this map in this base, right? I'm somewhere else on the map, and I hit the corresponding unit. Okay, I hit Z. And I get like a little hologram of my zealot. And anywhere in this pylon radius, I can warp in this zealot at a frightening speed. Because you normally train a zealot, you click on him, right? And he starts building. But if I hit W for warp gates and I hit Z, and I just click him down, he comes in a matter of seconds, right? Like, this is his health, he's vulnerable, then boom, now he's ready to go. That's all it takes. And I can just go W, Z, W, Z, press, oh my crap, I have reached max PSI. Let me kill some of my own units. That is a little silly. Did not see this coming. We're getting a little bit of anarchy here. So anyway, you do this sort of thing. Actually, this is not normal practice, I assure you. In the game. Must be done. Kind of silly. I apologize for this delay. Alright, so you do that, and you hit W, and you hit Z, 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 Z. So you can warp into all those zealots so fast. It's absurd. And they come in that quick. Now there's a recharge time. Notice how it's got a recharge time. And I go back to my warp gates, maybe. Go back to them, and it's got a recharge time. You can't warp in any other units. But I think that every unit has the same charge time, which that's just crazy.